Very welcome back to the show where Eoin Sheehan is closing out the show on a sugar high. Remind us again what you're making for us.
So chocolate creme patisserie tarts. Okay, so it's a French dish, but I've made custard loads of times. And creme patisserie is like a thickened custard. The only difference is we add cornstarch, and that makes it really kind of thick, and you can pipe it with a bag. Usually with custard, then maybe a little bit runnier, and you could eat it with a spoon. But to make the dough is really simple. You could buy it if you want. I would advise to make it at home. So what I have here is flour and butter, just with my fingertips, just get into a nice kind of...
Just ask how much of each.
So I have 200 grams of flour, I have about 125 grams of butter, and about 20 grams of sugar for a little bit of sweetness in there. Just with your fingertips.
Does the butter have to be cold?
Yeah. So chilled is perfect.
And do you do that thing? Catherine Layton taught me this from my days in R&M. She grates.
Yeah, you can, of course. Yeah.
Catherine, good for you to know.
I actually did it before, and I thought somebody was grated cheese, and they're like, "Oh, perfect, yeah, grated cheese," and they're soft, and the water just melted away. So that's all melted down. It's like breadcrumbs, and we're going to add in 1 egg yolk. Okay. It's going to kind of give it a nice kind of richness and a nice colour. Heffernans would approve, wouldn't they, Mark? Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Pretty Rob's in here now. He could have signed off on it.
The more eggs they see, the more happier they will be.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And then about 2 tablespoons of cold water. Okay, so pop that in. So again, if you have a food processor, that's great, or go in a whisk or whatever way you want to do it by hand, and just start to bring that together. So you will form. If it's very dry, add in some more water. If it's very, very wet, add in some more flour. So again, you have some kind of room to play with there.
What kind of other dishes could you incorporate this pastry into?
Like an apple tart or other kind of small pastries with fruit on top, or like a whipped cream in the middle as well. So it's like a really nice standard tart.
Exactly, that's what I'm thinking.
Exactly,
and if you
exactly.
left the sugar out, would you use it for quiche?
You couldn't eat, yeah. I'd always add a bit because there's no real sweetness in the pastry. So it's only 20 grams. Yeah. And I'm using dark chocolate for the filling, which isn't very sweet. So it's no harm to have a little bit of sweetness in here, okay? So that's what we're going to be left with.
If you're going to do something like that.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. So this is our dough. So what we'll do, we'll roll it out.
Has that gone into the fridge for a certain...
I'll usually, if you can, ideally, wrap in some cling film, about half an hour in the fridge. Okay. It'll just help it relax a little bit. It'll be way easier to roll it out. Roll it up. Okay, so I'll just do 1. So I'd probably get 3 out of this, just for the sake of the cameras. I have a tin here. These are kind of, they're like Yorkshire pudding tins, or a kind of wide, shallow tart tin. You could do 8 cups too if you wanted. You would put that in, like here. You would bake that up, try and get the walls nice and high, okay? So I would fill that tray. You could make it cleaner if you want. Yeah. Pop that up. And then that goes into the oven for about 20 minutes, 170 degrees, okay? So we'll check on that in a bit. So to make the custard, or the creme patisserie, really simple. We have 4 egg yolks, we have some sugar, we have some cornstarch, and we have milk and vanilla boiling here beside me, okay? So while the milk and vanilla boils, we'll whisk this up just until we get a kind of pale, egg-like consistency, okay? Go nice and easy so we're not all drowned in cornstarch. And that's the only difference here, that cornstarch will act as a thickener. So if you're making normal custard, leave cornstarch out. It's just eggs and sugar, maybe a little bit of vanilla. And what we do, if we can slowly incorporate a little bit of the milk.
So do you bring it to the boil?
Bring it to the boil. Yeah, so on a very slight simmer. And only add in a small little bit, so you have to chef's trick then. I covered a mess.
I like that, I appreciate it.
But what we do...
there for dancing, which, by the way, you could do a bit of dancing, couldn't you, and set a show our own?
Yeah. Listen, I'm always saying it, there's a few VTs, I'll dance for after. So what we do, we bring a small little bit of milk, so we're tempering the eggs, so the eggs won't scramble now. So they're a little bit warm, then we can go back into our custard with it all, nice and carefully, okay?
The thing is, custard is an easy...
It's simple. I always say it. I've made it several times in the show, and it baffles people because everyone is used to just getting the carton, bringing it up, and just leave that thicken on. That'll actually thicken really, really quickly now, okay? Yum. So the last little bit, take our chocolate, pop that in, okay? Let that chocolate melt, and that will thicken up now. So I'll usually put that in the fridge for about an hour, leave it cool down, okay? And when we pull that off, we have this really kind of nice thickened custard, okay? So really nice sweetened, thickened. I'm gonna pop these all over here. We're gonna take our tarts out of the oven. Okay, so these are baked 170. And what we'll do now...
And when you were popping them in, you obviously just scrape them with the back of a fork.
Exactly, yeah. So I actually blind bake them. So put a little parchment paper, baked beans or rice, and that'll keep the centres down, but let the sides rise up, okay?
It's called blind baking.
Yeah, blind baking. So again, if you were cooking the filling, I'd do that for half the time, take them out, and then cook the rest of the filling with the finished pastries themselves, okay? So now we take our creme patisserie.
Now, that's where it would go wrong for me.
Yeah, again, spoon it if you have to, all right? But you can be kind of nice and decorative, or if you've helping hands at home with kids, they can go wild here. And then you can leave the chocolate out, you'll get a normal creme patisserie. This is just a chocolate flavoured one.
Can I just say, like, I know you're saying it's great for kids. If that was my house, the boys would have the thing under their mouth and just squeeze.
That's what I was saying a while ago.
Yeah.
That's a meal in itself, the custard. That is perfect. There's a load of variation with that. You can add whipped cream and it makes it kind of nice and light. You can add it into different cakes, different profiteroles now, for example. That's what profiteroles will be used for, or any kind of pastries. And then you can go wild here then, so add whatever fresh berries, or you could do nuts, or you could do shaved bits of chocolate. The world is your oyster then with the ends of these. So I'll top these up. I'll give one to you both. And you can let me know then how it goes.
And it looks really impressive if you were to do it for guests.
Even just saying the words creme patisserie impresses people.
Yeah.
I was saying to people a while ago, geez, that sounds very fancy. He goes, yeah, it is, yeah, very fancy, yeah. But it's literally just a chocolate custard, which just thickens up. And again, if you have a piping bag that's good and fun, then you can kind of serve away with that.
Joe, for a man who's at a stag for his brother, you've a very steady hand.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much.
After that weekend.
Shout out to Mossy. Do you know what?
Yeah,
Mossy, when's the big day?
Yeah, when is the wedding?
2.5 weeks.
Oh,
that was
okay.
2.5.
That was very close to happening.
By then, his hair should have grown back.
Very trusting fiance. Okay, let's have a little look.
Okay, so I'll pop these over to you. I'll give you a dollop of that on the side too, just so you can taste that without it. And where are my berries? Here as well. Lady.
That is so pretty.
It is really pretty.
Now that I'm learning so much of my daily cooking sauce, I would just a little bit of ice and sugar.
Do you know what? I have it here beside me. You're miles ahead of me. You're miles ahead of me.
Sorry, she's getting ice and sugar, so am I. It's in the
We can swap seats, so you can cook away for me.
Yeah, exactly.